From the land of the rising sun. It's actually not from that land because this is actually from Korea. We're talking about kingdom, it's not from Japan.
That is East, though.
Yes, but
so I mean,
that's a phrase that's traditionally associated with Japan.
I know, but I just think of that with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson on Shanghai Noon. You have the over here the sun rises, but over here is where it sets. That's his big lesson that he learns about the Western.
He learned a thing about not fighting fair and doing a thing. And,
but
yes, this week we are discussing the new Netflix series, the zombie series, Kingdom. It's from Korea.
South Korea. This isn't Kim Jong land. What if there's metaphors to Kim Jong in this? Please let us know.
Hey, man,
I'm interested.
I will say, I mean, we can just jump right into the review. This has a ton of metaphors about leadership, and about how a society falls apart.
Right. Correct.
Pretty fucking good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's good. I liked it. We've discussed this a couple times on the show and shit we watched because we didn't watch this at the same time. So we didn't really have a chance to pool our thoughts together on this. Yeah. So that's what we're doing now. I'm just going to go ahead and give it my grade. I'll give it a B+ overall. Mm-hmm. There's aspects of it that I really liked. I wish there was more money into it because there are parts where it feels cheap to me. It doesn't bother me too much, but I can just picture this grander scale. Mm-hmm. And like the towns in the kingdom seem a little close together. Like everything's just convenient,
I mean, yes and no. I'm going to give it a B+ also.
Okay.
I did not start there. It gets better as it goes. The character work is good. I would say it's almost like this sort of even parts of Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and Attack on Titan. And I'm actually going to suggest that show to you because you started watching Death Note, and Attack on Titan
is another good one.
It's another good anime. Okay. And it's very, there are similarities between this and that. It's got the politics of Game of Thrones. It's got clear statements that it's making, and it's dark and it's powerful at moments, but it's also funny at moments, which was surprising to me.
It has one character in particular that is quite funny.
Actually, I found three to be particularly funny. Okay.
The characters are great. I love the villain, like the guy who works for the king or whatever. Yes. I like the idea of like the pregnant
princess,
princess,
queen.
Queen, yeah. The pregnant queen who basically the plot of this is there's a prince and his mother's gone.
Yep.
And basically the king remarried this younger girl, and they're trying to they're hoping to birth a boy so that the prince doesn't have the right to the throne anymore.
Yes, exactly.
And they get power. So it's the queen's dad is using her basically to get power.
And this is all the setup for the king dies.
Right.
And they try to bring him back to life, and they do successfully, but he's a zombie.
Technically,
and then things happen, and the zombie outbreak happens.
Yeah, and it's fun. The zombies are the best I've seen in a while.
Yes.
Just the idea of them. Not
the new rules for them are pretty fucking good.
Yes, and there's twists and turns in this as it goes through all 6 episodes.
It's great that they don't have the traditional walk all jerky and slow.
They're fucking lunatics.
They're just fast and dangerous.
Yeah. They're like if you spliced the 28 days later zombies with vampires.
Yes.
That's what they reminded me of.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's some fun stuff going on. I mean, we've talked about this before, that the zombie genre needed like a shot in the arm, something different, something new. And here it is. Yeah. I would say it is that.
It created new rules and it put a new setting, which I think were probably the two big things, because we've seen zombies in the West. And we've seen zombies in modern times.
Sure.
This is zombies in the East back in the day.
Right.
Could not get much more different. I guess maybe zombies in space.
Yeah. Well,
in the future. That's the other opposite.
John Carpenter's Escape from Mars.
There you go. Escape from Mars. All right.
One of his worst. It's Natasha Henstridge and Ice Cube.
Okay. Never saw it.
Skip that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's good. The performances, it's tough for me. Admittedly, it's tough for me to grade foreign performances a lot of the time. And it is tough in this. There's the funny character, I feel like hams it up quite a bit with his facial expressions and shit.
I think that's a cultural thing, though.
Exactly.
This is very. I've watched enough Japanese and Korean shit that they do over the top because that's kind of how they like their humor.
Yep, and it reminds Godzilla facial expressions, like point up at the monster and say something and whatever.
Yep.
Now I don't have many negatives to say except for I feel like the next season will be better.
I feel like the next season is going to be fantastic.
Right. Hopefully we get it. I don't know if we're getting it. That's the issue.
I hope so. It's going to be another fucking dark situation where you're just waiting years.
Oh,
but
God.
Yeah, this show, it starts. I'd say my downgrade, what brings it down, is that the beginning is quite slow. It's a little too slow for me.
The first episode is very slow.
Second episode is where it starts picking up. I'd say maybe it's third or fourth where you're just like, oh, fuck, that was
It just
awesome.
gets going, right. It does. It is one of those shows where it's like, all right, I'll watch another one. And then you like leave it for a few days. And then you watch the third one. And all of a sudden, I watched all 4 of the ones that were left in one sitting.
Yep.
That's the kind of show it is. Because there's only 6 episodes, which I think works in its favor, too.
Absolutely. It's the same old, like, do not stretch your story. Marvel.
Right. Yeah. Less than half of the length of a Marvel Netflix show.
And the
content is twice as good.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. And
that's not a coincidence.
And if you had stretched it to 13, I think I would have probably put it right at the same level as the Marvel shows.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I could not imagine this being 13 episodes.
No. If they imagine if this was 13 episodes, how much shit would have occurred? Like by the time we get 7 more episodes of this, like tons of shit is going to have happened. Whereas in Marvel, like 3 things have happened. In 13 episodes.
Yep. Exactly. Do you want to go into spoilers real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So we talked about your favorite comedic character, the bodyguard for the prince.
Yes.
He's very funny. I would say there was also a sniveling kind of rich dude who was like
I was wondering if that was one of your other.
He was okay. So there are actually 2 of them. There's the one that lives.
Okay. Yep.
And he's pretty funny. I like his interactions with the female physician.
Yep. Right.
And then the other one who dies on the ship. He was pretty funny.
The like old one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who was just such a piece of shit
Yeah.
and such a coward. But the way that he said things and he did like you were saying, the over the top woo thing, like he made me laugh like quite a bit because he was such a little bitch.
It's funny, you watch stuff like this from different cultures, and especially these Japanese or Korean or East Asia, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like it's tough to find that line where you're laughing at it or you're laughing at something that they purposely put in there. Well, and I think it is purposeful to laugh at it. Yeah. It's both.
Yes. I loved so there's an episode where the prince has to defend this small town, or they're barricaded in, and then
that was great.
And then the Klan shows up because he effectively, not mutiny, but treason.
Right.
He tried to do something or whatever. Anyways, these guys show up and he has to protect this town, and there are these people who've already seen such shit.
Yeah.
And then they just get murdered. And there's a great scene where he and his bodyguard and the one rifle guy who's probably your favorite.
Fucking great.
And they're just like picking these dudes off slowly and quickly, and like ninjas, like mist is everywhere and smoke. It's a fantastic scene. And it's capped off with something that I think was a genius decision, which they paused to show the woman going over and picking up one of the dead children who got shot by an arrow.
This show had some balls with the kids.
Yes.
Like, it was rough to watch a few of the scenes in this. God, there are some great scenes in this. There's another one where, like, there's 2 guys. They throw 2 guys in, like, a cell. And they've got those neck things on them where they can't get to each other, but they're both, like, attached to each other.
Yep.
And one of them they know is, like, a zombie. So they throw him in there. and just like, let's see what happens.
Yep.
And the one guy's like freaking the fuck out because the other one wakes up and is trying to reach and like get him, but he can't.
Yep.
What a fun scene.
That was good. It was good. It was really good. There were really good scenes in here. I also love the scene where the prince's sort of teacher shows up and kind of like has this sort of coming out of nowhere, saves them in this field thing. And I just love sort of like they did the whole like slow motion realizing that this could be the end. And then here comes the
good guy. Yeah.
Here comes Gondor,
well, they had a nice little flashback stuff going on there too.
Yes.
I liked that character. I'm glad you brought up that scene because that was one of the scenes when I say I wish there was more money thrown at this. That's one that sticks out to me because the idea in that scene is they killed all these people on the ship.
Yeah.
Or they found the dead bodies on the ship. I can't remember which, but they buried them like in this field.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, we'll show you where we found them, whatever.
Yep.
And they bring them out and it's a trap.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, you're standing on them, but we're going to kill you too.
Yep.
But then the thing happened. The sun goes down and they wake up and come out of the ground. And that didn't look great to me.
It didn't look great. It
reminded me of like Poltergeist.
It was one of those scenes where I was like, I know what you're going for. And it was where because a lot of it was, you only saw, I think, like one hand come out of the ground. And then you saw them coming from the field or whatever, you know, like, and,
like they didn't have they couldn't do all the fucking bodies bursting out and whatever.
Yep. And you could imagine it, but I was also kind of a big fan of sort of the whole, like, that was one of those moments too, where I was like, I wish that this prince would just explain the fucking situation instead of being like,
that gets annoying and everything.
Yes, yeah. But I also like the fact that earlier in the show, both the gun guy and the female physician, they both were trying to, they just flat out told everybody what was going on immediately, to the point where everybody's like, these people are fucking nuts.
Right.
And they lock them up and we're going to fucking kill you or whatever.
Yeah, which I guess helps with later, because then it's like, oh, well, no wonder they don't tell them, because nobody's going to believe them anyway. That was great too.
Yeah.
The whole, like, they have all the dead bodies laid out.
Yes.
And they're trying to tell them, like, look, this is fucked.
That was
whatever.
A great scene.
It was really good.
It was a great scene. The scene where, like, he, you know, like that gun guy, he saved the kid, you know, like, she's been bit, take the kid.
Yes,
oh, man.
Correct.
But the message is clearly, you know, like, it's clearly about corruption. It's about people seeking power, what happens when that is what your government is, and what happens to the people at the bottom.
It's the classic, like, political intrigue, like, medieval times show with zombies. Yeah.
But it
reminds me of, like, the Tudors or Game of Thrones or something, you know?
Well, because they have the clear, like, you know, there are the people who are trying to get in who are, like, being chased by the zombies. Right. And then there's the rich dudes in the fort, and they're like, we're not going to let you in. And it's like, this is
you're right. There's like a big political angle there.
Yeah. Which I think is, it's not even that political, because it's like, it's factual that the bigger the disparity between the rich and the poor in your neighborhood, your society, the more likely a revolt and serious problems for the poor arises. And also, it's inevitable with a big government that corruption will happen, because hierarchies, like Jordan Peterson says.
Oh, we're always talking about Jordan Peterson.
He's a smart dude, man. Left-leaning guy.
Hierarchies.
Yes. But he said hierarchies tilt towards tyranny over the expansion of time. It's true.
Makes sense.
And I think they did a masterful job of that with this.
The villain. I loved him.
He's fantastic.
Okay, this is a funny admission, but at one point watching this show, I texted Alex and I'm like, this show makes me wish I was Asian.
Yeah.
Because the villain is one of those, like, classic Japanese, like, you know, Shredder, like Master Shredder. And he's all about honor.
Yep.
And, you know, you're just watching it, you're like, this culture's fucking badass.
Yep.
This dude's a badass. He's a piece of shit, but he's just fun to watch.
Yep.
You know, he's a fucking badass, and we don't get him here like this, you know? This isn't how we get our badasses, but it was fun.
Yeah. And last thing that we can say about the show, the spoiler, the revelation at the end that it wasn't night, it was the cold.
Great. made perfect sense with where the plant came from, all that shit. And I didn't like get it even when they went out there.
Yeah.
And like there was the one, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like,
yes.
I was like, oh, that's not a zombie. Who followed him out there?
Yes.
Like I thought that was going to be the setup.
It was genius.
But then boom, like, oh.
And then the whole like, you know, they wait, and I was like, watch them get prepared for this invasion from the zombies, and they don't fucking come. Like that's what I was saying.
Right, sure.
And then it happens, and you're like, but it's not the end. And then you see the fucking your villain character that you like so much, and basically it's kind of like, oh, you think you know? And it basically seems like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna unleash the zombies on you fuckers.
Right.
And it was just like, this is great because it's not just an army of zombies, it's like a controlled army of zombies.
Well, and it's fantastic that you're working under rules that were set up at the beginning. Like the second episode, you figured out the rules and you think you have them down.
Yep.
And the show has just found a way to expand into something deeper and better.
Yep.
You know, is it winter? Like, are we going into winter here where they can just be in the cold anywhere and everyone's just completely
and they're fucked?
Because I was loving the concept of like, we got to make it through the night.
Yes.
And then in the morning, we're good. We clean up. We, we set everything back up again and we get ready for another fight. But now it's like, okay, well, that's out the window.
Yep.
It's
fantastic.
It is. It's good.
It's
really good.
It's a great setup for a second season. But I think that's the end of the episode. I hope everybody checks this out. It's fantastic.
Watch it. Hopefully we didn't spoil it all for you. I mean, we did. Hopefully you decided to watch it before you listen to the spoilers. You know, one thing on our show, if you're interested in something as you're listening, stop us and go fucking watch it.
Yes.
But I hope everybody.
Please do that. I think we're going to make a habit of maybe skip to this time if you want to avoid spoilers. End of spoilers. But normally by the end of spoilers, we're just kind of done.
Like right here.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, guys.
So if you did follow that tag of skipping spoilers, here we are. Good night.
Good night.